Hmm. Crusaders equals Christians. So does so do so does jihadists equal Muslims? I'm sorry. I shouldn't be saying that on I shouldn't be saying that on YouTube. They don't like it when you criticize Islam. Inquisitors equals Christian. Again, wouldn't that be like the same case with the Muslims? Oops, again, can't say that. Pisses people off. That one we'll come back to that one. Say that one last. KKK equals Christian. Make America Great Again equals Christian. How many of you know that the MAGA crowd are not all Christians? Are they're minorities as well. Not all of them are white European Americans.
Why Chinese Americans support Trump? All right. So the reason is the Democrat administration, Biden administration, lead this country towards socialism and eventually towards communist dictatorship. We came from China. We know this is the way. This is not like people here don't understand what is a communist is. We know communist is what communist is. That's why we support Trump.
This is really interesting because I'm also Chinese American myself. So
you haven't lived in China, I guess.
I did. I grew up in China.
Oh,
I grew up in China till I was 17. I'm from Shanghai. But
Shanghai.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about my opinions because I'm a journalist. So I just want to hear more about your opinions. As immigrants, a lot of people might say that Trump is anti-immigrants or
Trump is not anti-immigrant at all. It's just against illegal immigrant. Right. It must be lawfully, orderly.
There seems to be a pattern here. Well, what pattern? But the one that I really wanted to comment on was Nazis equal Christian. That one's interesting. Because weren't the Nazis did the Nazis not engage in European paganism? So, I mean, the Nazis, weren't they very much inspired by the Roman Empire? Didn't they have that Roman Hail Caesar thing that if you were to do in public, people would think you're a Nazi or something. Of which historically illiterate morons love to associate the swastika with Nazism, even though it has its history going back to even prehistoric, going back to prehistoric times, like the Ice Age. I mean, it goes back quite a long ways, I think.
More coffee if anybody wants it.
Right. I think. So it's just really funny how a lot of these people talk about things and they think they know the history. But they're just saying, but they prove how much of a moron they are. And then they go about spouting all this stuff. I know enough history. I know enough about the Nazis to know that they're not really Christian. You know, they may have tried to buddy up with the Roman Catholic Church, and Hitler might have said some things, but that doesn't mean that they're Christian. I mean, that's what you try to get as much good optics between you and other people to bolster your position. That's what a good politician does to get people on his cause. Like, if you get as many people supporting you, you can bolster your position. It's much stronger. So more on that Nazis equals Christian. Wasn't the German SS heavily involved in like some form of Germanic paganism? In fact, the whole Nazi movement began as a Germanic pagan movement. So you're gonna tell me that that's something that began as a Germanic pagan revival movement is Christian? That doesn't make sense. That makes absolutely no sense at all. And weren't they also into like Vedic culture? Like, more on the whole Vedic culture thing. I've got a comment here. Below is a photo of a standard issue German belt buckle with the inscription Gott mit uns, which translates as God is with us. The German Catholic Church also gave Hitler their blessing in a deal they made with the Nazi devil. It goes back to the thing that I talked about with trying to get good optics. Also, the swastika symbol was borrowed by Nazi occultists fascinated with Hindu religious symbolism. Blows this whole Nazi equals Christian out of the water right away. Fact checked. The Sanskrit word swastika translates as may it be auspicious or successful. The swastika symbol originally belonged to the elephant-headed god of India, Ganesha. One of Ganesha's many names is Vignaharta, which translates as remover of obstacles. The Nazis were trying to cover all their bases, thinking they could get gods and goddesses, or even the so-called one true God. I mean, they would be more in line with the so-called one true God, one morality, one political party, one king, one emperor on earth as there is one God in heaven. On their side, get the gods and as many gods and goddesses on their side to remove their obstacles and help them achieve success in their nefarious activities. I'm going to ask, is that Christian? Are they actually Christians then? Or are they idolatrous people engaging in adultery? Because that is adultery in the Christian religion. So are they actually Christians? That's a good question to ask. And this is a very good comment that I found on Facebook talking about this. And I thought it would be very important to kind of fact check this a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot, actually, because there's a lot that's wrong with this. It's sharpshooter's fallacy. And people operating on their traumas, on their trauma responses. Oh, and speaking of Nazis and Nazi apologists, and the funny thing, Zoomer historian, and like another account called Zoomer Accolades, are really big into the whole British Empire was morally superior than the Indians, because obviously the Indians are a bunch of literal shit-eating, vegetarian, rape porn obsessed, and he'll worship demons from hell type people. And here's like Zoomer historian's tweet from quite a while ago. On this day in 1829, the British outlawed the barbaric practice of sati, in which Indian women would be burned to death upon the death of their husbands. That's what I like to call propaganda by the British Empire, who very much hated the Brahmins as well, because the Brahmins were the intellectual caste that really criticized the British Empire. I mean, they were the ones that really fought the British Empire. So it's just really funny how these accounts, especially this man named Chris Nash, we'll call him Chris Nash because that's the archetype that we'll call these totally not LARPing pagan LARPing paganism accounts, whether intentional or we're civilized. We wouldn't have destroyed any of those pagan statues. See, we're for Western civilization. We really do. Those satanic, evil, demon-worshipping sinners. Only the one true God, the one true, absolutely good morality, and the one true, only good party, the Republican, good old party, proclaimed by Abraham when he was about to do what the Lord had told him to do and kill his son. Isaac. And then the Lord stopped him. Only the one true God and his one true absolute, unquestionable, undeniable morality, and his one party, and his one philosophy, his non-idolatrous, non-pagan ideology will lead the West to prosperity. Bro, we're not Judeo-Christian. We're pagan. And bro, replace that Greek statue with a picture of a saint or even of Jesus. Almond Joys may have almonds in it, but both Almond Joys and Mounds have coconut. So none of this my political party is superior to that satanic, that Christo-fascist party nonsense. Like, just fuck off with that crap, alright?